Pup. Hi. Hi. Hi, Pup.
Hi,
Don't run after him. That's rude.
No, I think it's going in. Oh yeah, I want to take a picture.
It's protected. Yeah, I am. I'm gay!
Morality is always a part of it.
Alright, so what is your name?
Laura Scott.
And you are a vegan.
I am vegan.
How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan for about a decade, and I've been on different variations of a vegetarian diet since '91.
Okay, so what implemented this change in your life?
I got sick on a hamburger at a barbecue. It was the summer of '91, and I got sick, and so for about a week I didn't want to eat meat because I got sick.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't that hard, and then I ate meat and I didn't feel good, so I just decided that I would not eat meat. So this is telling my age, that was my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
I stopped eating beef and I think pork, but I still ate chicken and fish and everything else. I went to college, and so the summer of '92 is when I graduated. I went to college and I stopped eating chicken. So I still ate fish and dairy, and then I was a vegetarian but still ate fish and dairy till about, I don't know, maybe 2005, and cut those out. And I've just been getting more regimented. Every once in a while there'd be a slip and I'd have cheese, or I'd have something with eggs in it, or I'd have fish, and now it's been about a decade and I don't even touch it.
So you were telling me previously that you are involved in environmental awareness.
Yes.
Was it after you stopped eating meat that you realized that your diet had an impact on the environment? Or before?
No, neither actually. When I worked in the environmental movement, I actually worked on global warming, and your diet never came into it. And this was in the late '90s. That just wasn't a topic. It was all about power and cars and emissions. They really didn't talk about how what you have on your plate and on your fork affects the environment. Now I know that, but that really actually never came into it. There wasn't that much information that I was presented with about that.
Okay, so when you did acknowledge, even after having eaten a plant-based diet for a long time, did this kind of change the way you saw your diet? And did this maybe inspire you in any sense to, maybe tell other people about it, or?
Very much so, because it's not just about me. If I look at it as a diet, it's just all about me and my health and what I'm doing. The way that a lot of people think it's so hard to be vegan. And for me it's not, because I'm also gluten-free and nut-free, so the vegan part's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's bigger than me. If I'm ever tempted or I'm hungry and I didn't pack a snack and I'm somewhere and all it is animal, it's not about me. I think about the animals, and I think about the environment and the water pollution and global warming, and that's not worth me eating that. I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah.
I went to school to stop that, and here I can stop it by just what I put on my plate. And I do talk to people about it. I have a lot of friends that work for environmental groups, and they're not vegan. And I point that out of how, being vegan has a bigger impact than bicycling to work once a week. So,
do you think if everyone in the world, or even just the United States, went vegan just for the rest of their lives, it would have a large impact on the environment?
it would be huge. Absolutely. But I also think that's unrealistic.
Yes.
And because there are certain people that don't like vegetables, it's just their preference. But I think there are ways that they can lessen their impact.
Yeah.
When I first started, I call it my journey. It was in '91. Yeah. There were no good vegan cheeses. There was soy milk, and it was grainy. Like, there was no soy yogurt or almond milk or coconut. None of that stuff existed unless you made it yourself, and I wasn't going to do that. So now there are so many other options. I mean, even just switching out your yogurt to almond yogurt or coconut-based yogurt, or your ice cream makes a difference, and that one step. And when I talk to my friends about it, who see that I am healthy and I'm fine and I survive.
And you have the vegan glow.
I have the vegan glow. I don't feel guilty about what I do and what I eat. I tell them to just start small. Start one thing.
Yeah.
Just don't eat pork this month. Like, go a whole month without pork. And when you can see you can do it, it's a small step. Then again, the easiest one that I always say is ice cream and cheese, or ice cream and yogurt. What you put in your coffee or your cereal. Don't put regular milk. Put almond milk.
Yeah.
It's little things that once they show success, it's, I can do this, and you feel better about yourself. It's healthier. And most people I have a couple friends that have done this, and they're like, I feel so much better. I don't hurt as much. I sleep better. I've lost weight. So it's that added benefit besides the environment and the animals.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so one thing I'd like to bring up, a lot of people who are kind of like iffy about the plant-based diet because of the foods that vegans often eat, such as quinoa or palm oil or even almonds and soy, they can, in different ways, be kind of detrimental to the environment based off of how they're obtained. So how would a vegan go about obtaining the resources and their dietary needs when a lot of the foods that are like staples in our diet are still harming the environment?
And that is a tough, it's choices. And I look at it that way of, I try really hard to buy local food. I try to support small farms, but every choice you make has an impact, from what you eat to what you buy to where you shop. And so, I think of that a lot of times, that's an excuse not to do anything. People say, oh, well, palm oil and the orangutans. Oh, seaweed in the ocean. Oh, okay, well, it depends on where you're getting it from. And you can buy seaweed that wasn't harvested from the ocean, but it was farmed. It's not harming anything. So again, it's all about choices and where you're going to spend your dollar. So a lot of times that people say, well, I can't be plant-based because there's so many destructive practices. Maybe, depending on what you buy, but it's still not as bad as factory farming for animals. With the forget about the environmental impact, but those are lives. Those are sentient beings that are being horribly treated and then killed so you can have a hamburger.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a huge environmentalist, it's that compassion for a living being. And I always think, in other countries, in China and Taiwan, the huge issue about eating dogs. There is no difference between eating a dog and eating a cow.
Yeah.
And so people that have dogs as pets, what's the difference?
Yeah.
It's still a living being.
So a lot of people say, okay, well, I get my meat from the farm down the road, or I have these chickens and they produce the eggs, and we don't have a rooster, so we feel it's fine to eat the eggs, or maybe the milk is from down the road. Is this humane or inhumane, in your opinion?
You're still killing an animal. I will say that I have, again, if it's on someone's journey getting there, it's better to buy, meat from the little farm down the street than a massive factory farm.
Yeah.
They were treated better. You're still killing an animal,
Yeah.
but it's treated better for the life it has than a factory farm. If those are the two choices, go
Yes.
with the local farm. Again, it's all about what's the least impactful, because I'm the only person in my family that's vegan. I wasn't always this way, so I can't stand there and tell someone that their choices are totally wrong, because
Yeah.
I did that as well. I don't have that moral high ground.
Yeah.
I used to eat meat. I didn't think about it. It's not that I didn't care. I just didn't know.
Yeah,
It's not out
there's not
there.
much of a social aspect to it being wrong. It's very common and normal nowadays. Like, especially I live on campus. In the meal hall, they have one or two vegan options, always, but everything else is meat, dairy,
And it's based on what people want to eat, because that's how they grew up and that's what they're used to. And again, it's a cultural thing. In other countries, they wouldn't be eating the same things we are, but that's the culture they grew up in. And so it's not right or wrong, it's just that's what they had. And by the fact that our food is so far removed from us, it just shows up nice and pretty in the grocery store.
Yeah.
You don't see how it got there. And I think if people saw how food got there, people would eat a lot less of it.
Okay.
Everything. Because it's just, again, the environmental impact, the impact on the workers, and the impact on the living animals.
Yeah.
Just people would not do it.
Not to even mention the effects that food has on our body.
Right.
Like-
That's a whole other issue. Most people, a lot of people become vegan or plant-based because they have a health issue. They have a health scare, especially as you get older. Your cholesterol's high, blood pressure, diabetes, cancer in the family, all sorts of things. But that usually doesn't keep someone plant-based unless it was a big scare.
Yeah.
Because once you become plant-based, the problems go away and you think, oh, it's fine. See, I can have a couple pieces of cheese. I can have a burger. It really is and I'm guilty of this. I became vegetarian for my health. I was overweight. I just didn't like how I was. And so I thought, I can do this and it'll be healthier for me. And then I would never go back now because of the animal issue and the ethics around it and the environmental impact. So now, again, it's not about me. It's about really everything else that's associated with it.
Yeah.
And most people just don't know. They don't see it because they're separated from a farm.
So what would you tell someone who says, I could never be vegan?
Yeah, you could. You can be. It's your choice. And I usually tell my story about how it's been a progression since '91. And there are times that it's difficult. If you go to a restaurant or you go to a party and there's nothing to eat, but that's rare. It's very rare that I can't find something to eat.
Yeah.
It's just not being difficult about it. Okay, so there's a salad. So I'll have a salad. Do I want more than that? Yes. Is there anything? No. But that's okay. I'm just like a picky eater, but I don't make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
It's usually a bigger deal for other people that I'm with. It bothers them more than it bothers me. That if I don't have 15 choices at a party, or I go to a restaurant and they have one thing they can make me.
Yeah.
But it really is about, what you believe in. And I go back to, other countries where they eat animals we would never think of eating.
Yeah,
And
like
people,
goats.
Goats. Goats, dogs, cats, snakes, bugs.
Guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs. Really in other countries, anything that's alive gets eaten if you have to. But it's just the way they grew up, and if you would not want to eat the cat, why are you eating the pig?
Yeah.
Like, what's the only difference is our perception and what we've been told is okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right. If there's one thing that you could say to everyone in the world regarding their diet, what would it be?
that every day I wake up knowing that I am making a difference. That by what I put on my plate, what I put in my body, not only impacts me positively, but the environment and the animals on this earth. And even though I know I could do more and help out more, I know, at least in that respect, that I'm making a difference. And it's not that hard. Everyone can do it. Everyone can make a change. whether it's going full plant-based or just giving up one thing and not eating dairy or not eating cows, and just making that one step to make a difference.
Well, it's been great talking with you, and
Thank you.
I appreciate your passion towards the subject as well as the compassion you feel for the animals. And I'm very happy that you have made this transition and are so aware of it and agreed to speak with me and everyone else who's going to watch this.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's a great opportunity to talk about something I care about.